Good evening, I'm Dr. Michael Twyman. Tonight, we'll be talking about how to optimize your circadian rhythms after daylight savings time. So daylight savings time happens twice a year. The spring forward one's worse for your cardiovascular system than the fall back one. Reason being is that it robs you an hour of sleep and it basically jet lags you. And jet lag is an acute circadian rhythm disruption. So your circadian rhythms, your 24-hour cycles, those are programmed by the light that enters your eyes, hits your skin, as well as the nutrients coming into your gastrointestinal system. Those are the main zeitgebers or time givers. And so tonight I just want to give you some tips and tricks on how to recover faster from the spring forward event we just recently had. So I'll kind of go through what I did. I didn't hit my protocols that I would normally do it, but this is the optimal way to do it. So keep the same wake up time no matter what. So even though you're phasing forward, if it's 5 a.m., you still get up at 5 a.m. Because that really helps keep that circadian rhythm tighter. That if you keep switching back and forth, it's going to be a lot harder. So keep your wake up time the same. You might adjust your bedtime, if you need to. So keep your same wake up time. If you're up before sunrise, put on a pair of blue blocking glasses, protect your eyes from the artificial light that would tell your brain that it's now noontime. So you want to protect the eyes until it's sunrise. When it's sunrise, you go outside, take your glasses off, face east. You don't need to stare directly at the sun, but just face east. Let the sun hit your eyes, hit your skin. That light entering your eyes, program something in the back of the eyes and front of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This is basically your master GPS clock. Lets you now know what time of day it is. So soak up at least 20 minutes of light in the morning time. At sunrise, sets the brain for the day. But the first day after a circadian shift with daylight savings, you want to spend more time outside so your body gets in tune what time it really is. Because your body only cares about circadian time, what light is outside. It doesn't care what man tells you what time it is. So try to live that optimally. So then, now you're back inside, it's time to eat breakfast. Ideally, try to eat breakfast within the first hour after the sunrise. I usually recommend people shoot for at least 40 to 45 grams of protein in the morning time. One, it helps with satiation. You're not starving later in the morning and wanting to binge on a bunch of carbs, but it also helps with something called muscle protein synthesis. Helps you lay down your muscle. The other thing is resistance training, but we're not going to go into exercise today so much. So now you've eaten some breakfast, go about doing the things you need to do for the day. Then, once it gets to the evening, ideally, try to stop eating within a 12-hour window. So if you start eating, right now where I'm in St. Louis, sunrise is 7:15. I just actually finished dinner before jumping on here, so I'm usually done within a 10-hour window of when I first start eating in the morning time. But you want to try to give your liver and gut time to turn off and get ready to recover and sleep. So 3 to 4 hours before bedtime, shut off anything other than water. Then, depending on how bad your sleep is, determines how when you got to rock the red glasses. So the day glasses block up about 450 nanometers. Some blue light gets through. It's normal to get some blue light from Mother Nature that raises your cortisol, keeps you awake for the day. But at nighttime, you want the cortisol to be dropping as melatonin starts coming up. And melatonin is being made throughout the day, but it needs a couple hours of darkness before it actually gets released into the system. So post-sunset, I'd flip on the rock and red glasses, and these block up to 550 nanometers, so it blocks all blue light, most of green light, and now it's really starting to tell your brain it's basically midnight. So I've shut off all my lights like I usually do. There's more daylight here, so it's not as red in here as usual. And these will start making me too tired, so I gotta switch back. But typically I have either one of my footable modulation panels blasting a bunch of red light in the room, or I have some cheapo LEDs from Home Depot or Lowe's. They're $15 and they're just red LEDs. And then chill in the red light for the evening time, and then try to go to bed at close to my usual bedtime. You might be half hour to an hour later than normal because that's what your body is being shifted from, but keep that wake up time the same. So that's what I want to share tonight with you, is how to kind of reset your circadian rhythms after a spring forward event. Today, mostly yesterday actually, there's about 20% increased risk of heart attacks these days immediately after. Probably due to people short sleeping, increased stress, they're tired, they're more likely to have car accidents these days. So you want to set your circadian rhythms, reduce your cardiovascular risk. So Thank you for joining tonight, and I'll open up to any questions, and I'll be back here next Monday, 6 o'clock Central Time. How'd everybody else do with the springing forward? I'm still doing my 75 hard program, so I got to work out twice a day. Each session's 45 minutes long, and before this I was actually doing a walk early in the morning right at sunrise. Now it would be pitch black, and this morning it was pouring, so kind of flipped around to my indoor workout, and then I just did my outdoor one. So I'll enjoy the later evening walks, but I'm not a big fan that sunrise got pushed back. So, question, should you adjust your medication times? Probably not necessary. Just stick to whatever times you normally were doing them at, and your body will get back on track on that. Some extra coffee today, but got through it. I would just say the only caveat with coffee is 60% of people are slow metabolizers of the caffeine, so it's going to stick around in their system longer, and then it can affect their sleep initiation. So sleep is a combination of your circadian rhythms, but it's also the quantity of adenosine that builds up throughout the day. As your body's making energy, ATP, that energy currency, a byproduct is adenosine, it builds up. Think of it like an hourglass. As the sand builds up in an hourglass, gets high enough, eventually the sleep pressure tells you to go to sleep. If you drink caffeine, it blocks the receptor where the adenosine would function, and so you're alert, but that adenosine keeps building up, and when the caffeine wears off, you get a bigger crash. So ideally, I usually recommend most people finish caffeine 12 hours or greater before they normally go to bed. You can get a blood test to tell you, if you're a fast metabolizer, slow metabolizer, but the quick and dirty is, if you drink caffeine late in the evening, it keeps you up all night, you're probably a very slow metabolizer. Question, can I recommend a good protein powder? I don't rep for any of them, but the personal one I use a lot of is J-Rob. I like their egg white protein. I've tried their whey. It doesn't taste as great. I mostly use it to mix into smoothies. Question, if you do IF, intermittent fasting, should you skip breakfast or just stop eating food earlier in the evening? My general recommendations without knowing people's full medical history or their labs is, for the most part, you really should not be skipping your first meal of the day because it's the protein that helps set muscle protein synthesis throughout the day. And if you really wanted to, quote, skip a meal, skip the evening meal and have a longer fast going into your evening bedtime. Your break fast literally is you're breaking the fast, just add it on to the end part of it. Says, how much carbs you're eating with the 45 grams of protein for breakfast? I don't personally keep track of my carb intake right now because I'm doing this 75 hard program, so I'm probably eating more than I would normally. The last time I did the 75 hard program, I unintentionally lost 15 pounds and got almost cachectic, but I really wasn't keeping up with my protein intake at that point, so I'm not really watching my carb intake too much right now. Last time I did blood work on myself, my insulin is way less than 5. My A1C I think was 4.9, and I've done multiple 14-day continuous glucose monitors with no major excursions in my blood sugars unless I was cheating just to see if I could break the monitor. But my general recommendation is between 40-50 grams of carbs max, unless you're an athlete and you really need to power up for an event. But if you have a continuous glucose monitor, then you can dial in and see how many carbs you can tolerate. Ideally, your blood sugar shouldn't increase more than 20-30 points or so an hour or so after you eat carb load. Currently for myself right now, I'm mostly doing a lot of eggs and some type of protein, usually sausage. We'll eventually switch into a more seasonally appropriate smoothie in the near future because certain family members like that more. But the smoothie, is going to have the J-Rab white protein in it, egg white protein, have blueberries, have cranberries, have coconut butter, almond butter, chia seeds, almond milk, water, that's spring water, and we're eating a couple things, half a lemon and half an avocado. So lots of healthy fats, not a whole lot of carbs other than in the low glycemic fruits. Yeah, I know Quantum Health people, I know he was had his keto meter up on Instagram the other day and had some good levels of baseline ketosis going on. So yeah, some people will go for more just kind of the fat and protein for breakfast. Glitch there, low battery, is that you typically want to at least get your protein for breakfast, and then the carbs are based off the amount of activity you do. I'm not sure if the question is max per day or max for breakfast, right, for the carbs. Carbs, typically 40 grams per meal is usually the kind of the limit, unless you know exactly how well your body responds. And you would need a continuous glucose monitor to really know if you can get away with 100 grams or 150 grams at any one meal. If you're about to be running a marathon or doing a lot of Tabata work or something like that, or heavy lift, you might need a little bit more carbs right immediately before that. But if you're just an average person, eating a big bowl of cereal and going to work, if you don't get the protein and fat, you're going to be starving in about 2 hours, and your brain just not going to function as well. So if you're going to have more carbs, make sure you have the base, the protein, and then also some satiating fats with it. All right, I wanted to keep this short and sweet, so I will save this and be up on my IGTV channel in just a little bit. I'll also put this up on YouTube for those that follow me on YouTube, and I'll send it out to my email list for all the members of Apollo Cardiology. Next Monday night, I'll probably just do an open Ask Me Anything. So if you have a biohacking topic, a quantum health topic, a cardiovascular, heart attack, stroke prevention type question, bring it on, and I'll be ready to answer for you guys. If you're interested in learning more about my practice, just follow me at drtwyman.com. It's drtwyman.com or apollocardiology.com. Question about the mural in the background. It's actually pretty funny. This is just a painting print that I got a long time ago in South Carolina, and it just, when I light up the room red, it just looks cool as a background. So I just kind of mix up the backgrounds every once in a while. So, you guys have a great evening, and I'll catch you next week, and hopefully your sleep and circadian rhythms are more optimized. So take care.